crazy as hell. I mean, guys, she was literally sitting there trying to say that her people enjoy being bombed, so they can be liberated from the Iranian regime. She still think that Reza Pahlavi is going to be a viable option to lead Iran. I mean, this is how crazy these people are, and this is how out of touch they are. And I'm sorry, but it was so crazy how much they were willing to believe the propaganda about the war. I mean, they're still over here trying to push the whole 40,000 protesters lie. I mean, Laura Loomer upped it up to 100,000 dead protesters that the IRGC killed. But hey, the number goes up every day, guys. I just want to let you know that the confirmed number is about 3,100. So anywhere from maybe like 3,000 to 6,000 people died from that from the IRGC's slaughter of those protesters, only because we put guns in protesters' hands. But that's beside the point here. The problem is that these Iranian diaspora people like PBD and her, I mean, it's kind of sick. It really is sick how much they want a regime change. And, they say they want it for the freedom of the Iranian people. But I'm just like, how could you sit there and say that when you really are wishing like death on your own people? Like, you're okay with them being bombed and you think that's okay. Like, it's absolutely insane. But hey, it is what it is.
Posobiec, senior editor of Human Events, and Wajahat Ali, the host of Democracy-ish. Welcome to all of you. Wajahat, let me start with you. If you look at the deal, I want to play a clip. This is Barack Obama's response to the news of this deal.
It is doubtful that any agreement that arises is going to be significantly different or a significant improvement from the deal that we had in the first place and had worked for a long stretch of time before the United States pulled out of it. So I'm hopeful that bombing stops.
And like I said, I hate to admit this, but when Obama did the JCPOA, he was able to get about 1,000 pounds of enriched uranium out of Iran. He was able to get inspectors on the ground, ensure that it was only enriching at 3.6%, and he didn't give away billions. Because I'm gonna be real with you, he gave away a couple, like 1.8 billion. Trump is about to give away 12 billion to the Iranians just to pull up to the table. Obama gave these guys $1.5-2 billion to give up their entire, to give up a stockpile of enrichment, to put inspectors on the ground. I mean, bro. But then we got Trump out here giving 12 million just for them to talk to us. Just to keep the conversation going.
I mean, that's what many people think is the reality with Jahat, which is that the Obama deal with Iran was ridiculed and mocked by Trump as a terrible deal. He ripped it up in 2018. But many people looking at what's unfolding here believe that actually this deal is no better and perhaps may even end up being slightly worse than the deal that Trump so mercilessly mocked and has done ever since.
Actually, I disagree with President Obama. It is far, far worse. It is a massive loss for President Trump, the United States, and Benjamin Netanyahu. I want to remind everyone that about 3.5 months ago, Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu decided to launch this illegal, unconstitutional war with Iran. They have since done what? They've done a regime change. So what have they done, Piers? They replaced the older, dying Khamenei with a younger, more militant Khamenei. The Strait of Hormuz, which was open, is now...
No, I ain't gonna lie. That is true, though. It's like they sit there. What was it? Trump tried to say there was regime change, but I'm just like, dog, let's be real, bro. We got a way harsher regime. Bro, we took out all the old moderate guys, the old guys who are more passive and all this good stuff. We killed all those guys and then put in a bunch of younger guys who are IRGC radicals. Actually, Khomeini's son, Maja, let's just say Khomeini's son, the new guy that's in there, bro, there has been fear across the Middle East of this guy ever getting to power because he's way more of a radical than his father. And we just got this guy put in power. Like, it's about to be a very rough couple of years in the Middle East.
Closed. Iran, especially with this young guard coming up, is flexing its power. Iran has actually emerged in a way much stronger Our allies are abandoning us because they see us as weak. The United States of America couldn't use its military might to force Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Instead, many of our allies are going to what? China to look for a stable partner. Thousands of people have died, 4,000 Iranians, 4,000 Lebanese people. Israel is occupying Lebanon right now, has ethnically cleansed about 1 million Lebanese people. And with this deal, what's going to happen? Obama gave $3 billion. Now, according to the terms, we haven't seen it, but what we've seen from both sides so far is that Donald Trump will give about $300 billion, right, to Iran to rebuild. He's going to release the assets that were frozen.
Combined. Now, what he's talking about is like, what was it? It's U.S. allies. So U.S. and U.S. allies, aka our Gulf allies, will be pretty much throwing in about $300 billion to rebuild or have a reconstruction plan for Iran. So us in the Gulf countries will be throwing in billions of dollars to help Iran out. And then not only that, we'll be giving them about $12 billion and release sanctions and then way more after. And like I said, we're giving them $12 billion just to pull up to the conversation. Like, yeah, this is tough, guys. This is real tough. This is a tough one to eat. Like, and like I said, I wanted this war to end, but I didn't want it to end like this. And this is what I was afraid of. And this is what I was kind of warning people about.
Iran says is they're going to get sanctions relief. They're going to get an inshallah about, the uranium and the enrichment. And then what he could have done and should have done was simply stay with the JCPOA, not blown it up, which was actually a diplomatic coup. And voila, now we have this massive loss. And furthermore, Pierce, something that's remarkable that you and I have not seen in our lifetime, I think you and I had the wisdom to be against the war on terror. We've seen in our lifetime that most Americans, whenever the United States bombs Muslim majority countries, they're with them. The majority of Americans are not with Donald Trump on this. In fact, every single month that this war has gone on, a majority of Americans, including his base, including young Republicans.
Man, like, shout out to my man Castro. And I don't know, Castro. I don't know if I can agree with that. Like, you're right. Obama gave them money, and sure, that might have not been the best idea then, but it got us everything we wanted at that point. And the fact that Trump got out of that deal, think about it. If Trump never got out of that deal, we wouldn't have to be paying these guys again. Like, that's the problem. He got us out of a deal. Now we got to pay these guys again to get back into the same deal that works out now better in their favor. That's the problem here. I mean, shoot, honestly, if Trump didn't get out of that deal, we wouldn't be here. And that's just a fact of the matter. I mean, you could sit there and you could say, well, oh no, Iran would have had a nuke, but how can we sit there and say that when we had inspectors and it was ensured that they was at that 3.76%? Or just my bad, 67%. Like, I really don't know how we can honestly make that argument.
Republicans say, why are we in this war and why are we giving this money to Israel? So what's going to happen now, and I think what President Trump should do, is we know what Israel's going to do. I don't know if you just saw earlier today, Israel's defense minister said, we don't care, and you just heard what Naftali Bennett said, we don't care what the United States does. We're going to continue occupying Gaza, we're going to continue occupying Syria, we're going to continue occupying Lebanon, we're going to do what we're going to have to do. If Trump was smart, what he'd say is the following: Israel, you do what you want. We don't have your back. We're not going to defend you. We're not going to use our munitions. You take on Iran by itself. And I guarantee you, if Donald Trump finally cuts off Netanyahu, Israel will back away. It'll probably take 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, but it will. And that's in the best interest of the United States and Trump, who's negative double digits on this issue.
Yeah.
All right, Jack Posobiec, it's very hard to see how this is a win, isn't it, for Donald Trump? However this plays out. I mean,
yeah, Americans will now be paying, well, not now, but, Americans paid higher gas prices, higher food prices for nothing. And this is what I'm saying is, like, I just don't see how you could even paint this as a W. Like, at this point, like I said, guys, this is an L. Like, this Iranian deal, this works out for Iran perfectly, but it just makes us look dumb and foolish for even getting into this. And I mean, like I said, you could try to spin and look, man, I'm willing to hear the arguments. I truly am on how is this a W? I just cannot see it. Like, bro, we didn't embarrass ourselves on the world stage. China now feels more emboldened to take on Taiwan. Actually, Taiwan is walking to China's door talking about, well, I might as well talk to you guys now since we can't be assured that America actually protect us. It's like, do you see the problem here, guys? Like, this is not, like I said, as much as we want to try to, I don't know, like, make up a dub or try to, like, grab a dub out of this, grab a win, I can't really see one besides maybe us getting their enrichment under control, but at what cost? Oh, $24 billion.
Objectives from the start. I mean, he posted, as I said earlier, there'll be no deal except unconditional surrender. Well, we couldn't be further away from that. If at the end of all this, there's a situation very similar to the situation that Obama found himself in when he did his deal with
like Castro, I'm not saying that we can't move on and be better from this. I'm just saying in this moment right now, we should be learning a lesson here. In this moment right now, though, like out of everything I said, bro, you got to be real, though. This does not look good. This is an L for us. I'm not saying down the line we can't learn from this L and be a better country, but we got to take this as it is. We got to take this L to the chin and understand where our mistakes were. And mistake number one was walking into this war and supporting it in the first place. Like, that's mistake number one. I mean, mistake number two was just committing to it and pretty much just letting Iran get their way. I'm gonna be honest with you, like, once we committed to this war, we had multiple opportunities to get out of it. And because we stayed in it, Iran's getting their way. We honestly got to take this lesson to the chin and become a better country out of it. Like, we just can't sit here and keep making excuses and try to sit here and try to pull a dub out of it when there isn't. We can get a dub later on down the line once we learn these mistakes. But right now, we took an L, guys. Right now, we took a strategic L.
The Iranians. Where's the win? Why would that not be also?
Oh, well, that's exactly what you're pointing out. Then I ain't gonna lie, Castro. I admit, I do love how you see the positivity in things. So shout out to you on that one. Because I like to see the positive too. Trust me, I do too. It's just right now, we better take this as a lesson. If you're not taking this as a lesson on foreign policy, then I don't know, bro. You're being dense. Like, if you could go through past lives, past episodes, I've low-key been pointing to this reality the entire time. I've low-key been pointing to reality that, bro, there is going to be no regime change in Iran. We haven't decimated their missiles, and it looks like we're capitulating. I didn't want it to come to this, but here we are, guys. But let's see what these people got to say. And don't forget to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. If you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements, help support the stream and help us reach the call-in by sending a super chat, Rumble, Venmo, or PayPal. All right, guys, enough plugging. Let's get back to it.
Just as mockable as Donald Trump mocked it at the time.
Well, yeah, Piers. I mean, as you say, we're not entirely sure what the final details of the bill will be or the deal will be because it's not completely sussed out. It hasn't been completely publicized. In fact, just prior to going on here, I reached out to the White House saying, can we get a readout? Can we get some specific details? Haven't received that yet, but I'm sure they're going to be putting more out as we can. One of the things though that I would push back on is the idea that it's the same as the Obama deal. In fact, there's other pieces to this that are totally separate from the Obama deal. For example, there's no phased, return to enrichment, return to a nuclear weapon. They're talking about completely ending it. So no backdoor deal where they would be able to get it.
But the wording of that, though, Jack, just to jump in on that, Jack, the wording of that is literally almost identical as the wording in the Obama deal, which is that Iran undertakes never to pursue a nuclear weapon and so on. It's literally almost word for word. Right, so
I believe that
in terms of
the thing, they've been saying that since 2006, guys. They've been saying that same line since 2006. So, like, now you believe it. Now that Trump is telling you it, like, come on, bro. When we was telling you guys it, and we was saying it came straight from the supreme leader, you guys were telling us to kick rocks. Okay. When they said it again, that they don't want to create a nuclear weapon. When Tulsi Gabbard said it, you told us to kick rocks. Now that's coming out in this memorandum of understanding. Oh, now you understand how they don't want to make nukes. No, now you get it. Okay. All right, then.
And see, from the Iranians
specifically, not just the weapon, but the enrichment. Not just the weapon, but the enrichment. I believe that part.
Do you accept then, Jack? So Jack, do you accept that if the enriched uranium remains in Iranian hands at the end of all this, that is a failure?
Well, I think that's one of the pieces that they want to get in this next 60-day extension, that they want to go into what exactly will happen to not just the enriched, but the highly enriched, right? The part that's very close to becoming weaponized uranium. And will that be down blended to lower enriched? Will that be physically removed? Will the U.S. be involved? President Trump actually had that tweet out right after he came out from China saying that perhaps China would be involved. So I sort of read through the tea leaves on that and said maybe he's reached out to China to see when he was there to see if he wants to get the Chinese involved. I do agree that something needs to be done with that highly enriched uranium. And the president has said that consistently. If that is done, we will see a big difference between the Obama deal. But also in general, the two pieces I want to point out where it's different is that he didn't just use diplomacy here, right? He used weapons of warfare. He's able to go back to that at any point if he wants to. And yes, the polling is what it is. There's no question, but he still has shown that he's willing to do that if there is no compliance. That's totally different from what Obama did. Just the context of this is completely different. And finally, I think it's a win for the president because he didn't go the full neocon route of boots on the ground, invading Karg Island, trying to go full Iraq, Afghanistan style regime change with this.
But I think that's the problem, Jack, is that with this deal, you can already feel the mood music is that all those neocons who've been full square behind Trump over this, they're now beginning to turn on him. They're asking far more difficult questions. They're all clearly whipping themselves up into a frenzy of anger about this, as are the Israelis. So, Trump could end up in a situation where almost everyone's pissed off. And again, I just ask, where's the win
what
here?
A bunch of ingrates.
I mean, I can't help thinking I can't help of ingrates.
Absolutely ingrates, because they were the ones who said, hey, let's give this a shot. Let's see if we can knock off the regime. We'll take out the Ayatollah. We'll take out the higher levels, the first layer, the second layer, which was done. And then it would be some massive win.
All right, Jack. Okay, I feel you finally standing up for something. He's like, yo, they're being ungrateful. They are being ingrates. They're being ungrateful. Like, are you serious? Like, bro, you dragged us into this war while we were taking on Iran. You was putting boots on the ground in Hezbollah, and the only reason you was able to do that is because we was taking on Iran. The only reason you was able to gain territory in southern Lebanon and displace millions of people was because we was taking on Iran. So the least you could do is help us out and cut the shit with Lebanon, which means that you guys can't take that land that you took, which means you wasted about over 3,000 IDF lives for, well, no reason, which is tough. But I mean, this is why you just don't get into wars with random countries. I mean, well, or your neighbors. And be honest with you, Israel, y'all need to just take this lesson like we are.
The regime would collapse, the people would rise up, and as you yourself said, that just hasn't occurred. That was a bill of goods that was always not in the cards, that was always not something that they had. And President Trump has said, you know what? We got what we got. We're not going any further. And if you guys don't like it, you can pound sand.
Okay, Jonathan Conricus, welcome back to Uncensored. Look, it just seems to me, Jonathan, and I've been saying this is highly likely to be how this all played out for quite a while. There are two competing agendas here. And I think we're now seeing all this come to a head where Donald Trump has a political and economic imperative to stop this war. He just knows it's getting more and more damaging to him politically and to the Republicans with the midterms coming. And economically, it just isn't sustainable to keep doing this. But the Israelis, clearly, from the rhetoric we're already seeing from senior members of the Israeli government and from others, there's widespread view in Israel that this is a different thing for them. That Israel wants to have the right to continue doing it, and that I suspect from the way they're talking, that's exactly what they will do. So, is that your reading of this?
Yeah, thanks for having me back on. Naftali Bennett, he was, I think, very, very measured in his comments. And I think I can, maybe he's careful because he wants to be able to communicate well with Trump if Naftali Bennett is elected. And then he needs to have a good working relationship. So he's careful with, respecting the president. I can perhaps speak a little bit more freely and reflect public sentiment and general sentiment. And you quoted two right-wing, pretty extreme ministers, but I can tell you that there's, on the other side of the aisle in Israel, from the opposition, saying equal things about how horrible this apparent deal is. And of course, we have to understand that we're in an information deficit.
Guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get to 25 likes by double tapping that screen, liking the video, and smashing that like button if you're on the horizontal live. And guys, if you want a better viewing experience, please go over to the horizontal live if you want that. All right, let's keep it going.
Iranians are pumping out much more information than the US is, and there's unclarity. We have dishonest negotiators here, Pakistan and Qataris, and of course, they have an inherent interest in promoting the Islamic Republic, and the US hasn't yet already said what the deal actually entails. And the most important topics, what are the details regarding their nuclear weapons, regarding their proxies in the region. But the Israeli perspective is different because we, like most other people here, have skin in the game. We have been at the receiving end of Iranian aggression for the last 35 years. Israelis have been killed and abducted and burned and murdered by Iranian proxies. Israelis have been forced to run for shelter for so many years by rockets that were either made in Iran or paid for by Iran. And Iran has waged indirect warfare using Arabs as their cannon fodder.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing though. You guys did attack Lebanon, and that's the whole reason why they're attacking you guys. You put boots on the ground in Lebanon. Like, it's kind of crazy how they never want to talk about that. It's like, you guys know you put boots on the ground. You're literally kicking like Christians and Shia Muslims out of their villages, out of their homes. Like, you guys are doing that right now. You don't expect anything to happen to you guys? That's crazy. That's absolutely insane.
Against Israel for a very long time. So that is the main reason why the Israeli perspective is wholly different. This isn't about what America wants from an Israeli perspective. This is about the very basic necessity of the Israeli state to defend itself against Iranian aggression. And just to put things into context here, Israel, up until now, never even spoke about, bringing down the Iranian regime. But the Iranian regime has had an official goal to annihilate what they call the Zionist entity, which is the state of Israel. Sure. And they've been trying to achieve that by all the means that they have. So one positive thing that we can speak about is the damage that has been inflicted on the Iranian regime's ability to produce weapons.
I mean, if we could just be real and be unbiased about it, both sides want the destruction of each other. Israel wants the destruction of Iran, or the destabilization of Iran, because, they want to be, the power hegemon in the area. Like, once they get rid of Iran, nobody can stop them. And they know this. Iran, they want to stop Israel because, they know Israel's intention for Iran. Israel wants to destroy Iran. They want Iran to be destabilized. They want Iran to go through a regime change. So, I mean, let's be real. Both of them want each other gone, like, equally as bad.
Of mass destruction. I think thanks to military action by the US and Israel, there's a significant downgrading in that capacity. The Iranian regime is still exposed. Iranian skies are still open to Israeli, and if they decide to do so, American planes. And there are many things that have changed. Yes, I agree with you, and with this I'll conclude. If this deal follows through as it is communicated by the Iranians mostly, it seems to be a very, very bad deal, bad for the Iranian people, bad for the Lebanese people who will continue to be held hostage by Hezbollah, Iranians.
Held hostage by Hezbollah, but you guys are the one that's bombing their homes and displacing them. You guys have killed more civilians than Hezbollah. Actually, the civilians are running to Hezbollah for help. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Iran's proxy in Lebanon. It'll be bad for Gulf countries, and I don't think it will do a lot of good to the US, because in terms of global superpower and a country that wants to have alliances and allies around the world, not a good look. But again, I'm cautious here because we don't yet have the details, and I hope to be wrong on all the pessimistic things that I've said.
Goldie Gamari, you posted in response to the announcement the deal was done, Contract Law 101. Both parties must sign a deal. If anyone thinks the terrorist Islamic regime will sign and honor a deal made with the great Satan, while their beloved supreme dictator remains unburied and rotting in a fridge, I have a bridge to set you. You added.
I mean, here's a problem. It's really hard to make that argument when we're the ones who broke the deal with them. Like, somebody said in the chat, like, oh, it was supposed to be like 10 to 15 years. And I'm like, yeah. And guess who broke the deal? Well, we did. 3 years in 2018, Donald Trump put back on the sanctions, got about the deal. Like, yeah, you can't sit there and bring up a timeline of a deal when we're the ones who broke it. At that point, the whole point you're trying to make about it is a moot point.
President Trump has created the conditions to exterminate the terrorist Islamic regime occupying Iran. If it doesn't agree to sign and abide by the unconditional surrender deal Trump wants, bookmark this post. So strong words there, but again, there is a reality check, is there not? That it's clear to me that Donald Trump wants out of this war. It's equally clear to me that Israel does not. And these competing positions are now hurtling to a point where something has to give.
Well, I'm not quite sure what makes you say that. That's not what I've seen from President Trump. President Trump has said that he has all the time in the world. It's not just the military aspect here. There's also the economic aspect. No one really speaks about Project Economic Fury. Now, here's the thing. The Islamic regime is slowly collapsing.
Economic Fury was a failure. Like, bro, we put a blockade on top of a blockade and it was still getting shadow fleas through. And then here's the thing. They could, like I said, they could, if you look at a map and you look at their neighbor, Pakistan, who's Pakistan next to? China. They could travel through Pakistan. They got the Caspian Sea that they can get into Russia. They could still get to their best buyers, their biggest buyers. Like, why do you think that was doing something? It wasn't, or else we'd have kept it up. Actually, it's kind of crazy how y'all believed it was doing something when they said it was going to collapse their economy in 48 hours? Then they switched it up to a week. I mean, guys, it's like week 3 since they said that.
Internally, I hear some people talking about how there's like this new, stronger, more, hardliner Ayatollah. Where is he? Why haven't we seen him? Why hasn't he put out a video or a voice message or anything like that? The reality is the Islamic regime is scared. They're scrambling. And right now, President Trump is really putting their feet to the fire because I have seen and shared footage from inside.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Scrambling? I think we're the ones that's scrambling, to be quite honest with you. I mean, we're the ones scrambling on the position of war, scrambling on goals, scrambling on what we want to do with the Strait, like scrambling every time Israel bombs Lebanon. I mean, I think we're the ones that's scrambling right now, and I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
really?
Did you know that the supporters of these?
Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence this regime does not maintain a completely tight grip over the country and the people? There hasn't been any uprising of any kind by the Iranian people since the start of this war. That does not suggest to me a regime that is collapsing from within. That was the promise that Netanyahu and the head of Mossad made. Well, hang on. Let me finish. Okay. Let me finish. That was the promise made in the White House Situation Room by Benjamin Netanyahu and the head of Mossad, was that there would be a dismantling of the leadership. The IRGC would collapse from within. The people would rise up, and that would be how this played out. None of that's happened. That's what I mean by a reality check. And far from unconditional surrender of the kind Donald Trump wanted.
That's why Israel says stand the hell down when they talk about, how could you get into a deal with Iran? Dog, your plan didn't work. You told us 4 days to 2 weeks, bro. Or over 100 days in. Like, so at this point, I think you should sit down and let us handle everything. Because I don't even know why we put you in the driver's seat, but we did. And now it's time for us to take over.
We're way away from unconditional surrender.
You have to let me respond. So first of all, there's footage coming out from inside of occupied Iran where supporters of the Islamic regime are actually chanting death to Arakchi and death to Ghalibaf because they are angry at the possibility of the Islamic regime signing a peace deal with the great Satan. So that's number one. Number two, when it comes to this, the Iranian people rising up, Iranians have made it very clear. Our leader is His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi.
Iranians made it clear. If Pahlavi steps into Iran, bro, he's getting executed. Like, period, point blank. Like, bro, stop risking that man's life, okay, bro? Bro, if that man Pahlavi walks into Iran, he's getting executed. And I'm talking about the principalists and the reformists are going to do it to him. That's both parties in Iran that don't like his ass. And I mean, here's the thing. I mean, they got a democracy right now. I mean, why would they give that up for a monarchy, basically, for a dictator ran by the U.S.? Like, do you hear yourself, lady?
Pahlavi has said very clearly that when the conditions are right, he will make the call, he will issue the call, and the Iranian people at that point will rise up. He has not issued that call yet. And so anyone who's out there saying, the war has failed because the Iranian people haven't risen up, they don't know what they're talking about, because you have to look at the Iranian angle here. The Iranian people listen to His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi. We already know that on January 8 and 9, when they went...
Lady, man, quit your lying, bro. If the Iranian people listen to Reza Pahlavi, we'd have got that revolution bro, honestly, years ago. If they even gave a damn about that boy, we'd have got that revolution popped off years ago. I'm sorry, but that makes no sense. The Iranians don't care about him. Even the guys that don't like the IRGC don't like him. That's just the reality that we got to deal with here. Like I said, leave the government up to the Iranian people, lady. Just because the Iranian people ain't picking the ones that you want, or that they're not a whole bunch of monarchists, doesn't mean you should go around creating lies that they want your government and that we should force it upon them. You sick bastard. Okay. Sorry.
I know they were massacred. Over 40,000 innocent, unarmed Iranians were slaughtered. Anyone who thinks that Iranians will once again go out while they are unarmed, while the Islamic regime is still a little bit in control and still has the weapons and still brings in their proxy terrorist groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and others, Hashd Shabi, to murder Iranians. If you think Iranians are going to rise up right now when the conditions aren't right.
Bro, you wanted us to support the Kurds. You wanted us to bring in Kurds to go in there and fight the Iranians. I mean, bro, didn't you think that innocent Iranians were going to get caught up in the gunfire? Like the innocent Iranians got caught up in the bombing that you were celebrating, like those little schoolgirls that you don't give a fuck about, considering that you're an Iranian woman yourself. It's kind of crazy, huh?
You know nothing about Iran. So that's why Iranians haven't risen up, because His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi has not issued the call yet. It has nothing to do with Israel, nothing to do with America. Ultimately, Iranians have been fighting for freedom for 47 years. We will overthrow the Islamic regime with or without international help. That's all.
I mean, great. No, that's what we want. We want you guys to do it without international help. We don't want nobody to help you guys when you overthrow that regime. Why? Because it'll be natural and nobody's going to sit there and be mad about it. I'm be honest with you. If the Iranian people would do it themselves, bro, all we're going to sit back and do is sit there and clap for them. So the day that they do it, I mean, you're acting like we're not going to sit there and cheer them on. The problem is, though, they're not doing it. And the problem is that there's way more support for the government than these people are willing to admit.
There's to it.
Okay, with Jahat, that's all there is to it, apparently.
When it comes to why the Iranian people haven't up yet, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're waiting for the call of His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi. That's what he said. He's the leader of the Iranian revolution.
Yeah, back in reality, if Reza Pahlavi...
Bro, literally, that was insane. She, like I said, guys, she's insane. She's literally crazy. But guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate the support, by the way, and make sure to smash that like button if you're watching on the horizontal stream. Appreciate the support, guys. Make sure you keep on watching. And you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Super chat, Rumble Rant, PayPal, or Venmo. All right, guys, let's get right back to it. And I think we're about $80 away from the call-in being open.
If he actually goes to Iran right now, most likely he would be assassinated and he would not be greeted with the majority people because he's seen as an agent and tool of the United States of America. But let's go back to reality. Donald Trump's biggest mistake. His biggest mistake.
You guys are crazy. That's what I'm saying. They don't understand the people of Iran. I mean, they don't want a puppet of America as their leader, bro. Are y'all fucking retarded? Do you even understand the reason why they got rid of y'all Shah the last time? Which you want to be like, Shah? They got rid of him because he was a puppet of the United States. He was buying weapons from us, even though he couldn't afford it, at the expense of his own people, while selling out their resources to us and the Brits. So why the hell would you think the Iranian people will want that guy's son? Like, are you serious?
Was being dog walked by Benjamin Netanyahu.
I would suggest you don't speak about the Iranian people and how they view His Royal Highness. You're not Iranian. You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what people in Iran think.
Sweetheart, you ain't never, bro. She ain't been to Iran since she was probably 7 years old, Chad. I'm gonna tell you this right now. She ain't been to Iran since she was probably 7, single digit. She don't know the atmosphere there. She ain't been there and she don't want to go. So it's kind of crazy how she's talking like this. It's like, you don't even want to go to Iran because of the regime. Why can't you just be happy that you're outside instead of trying to wish for regime change and then drag us into it? Like, well, why?
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. I appreciate your alternative take on history. Let me just respond. Back in reality, Donald Trump's biggest mistake was he allowed himself to be dog-walked by Benjamin Netanyahu. He pulled out of the JCPOA. If he had just stuck with it, Pierce, if he had just stuck with it, Iran would be weaker right now. The regime would actually be much more compliant. There would be much more transparency. It'd be less dangerous. He blew it up. Why? Because Netanyahu said, blow it up. So he did. Then he made the mistake last year of joining Israel in its 12-day war. And Donald Trump then bragged about destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities. He degraded it, didn't destroy it. The biggest mistake was that Donald Trump did something that no president has done in 47 years. He actually followed Netanyahu and Israel into this regime change, this illegal, unconstitutional war. Now, what happened? And you've mentioned the facts. He promised regime change. There isn't a regime change. Sadly, there isn't. This is a totalitarian regime. It's gotten younger. The same players have just been, if you will, upgraded because they're younger, a bit more militant. Iran is flexing its muscles. Iran wargamed this. The Strait of Hormuz was open. Now it's closed. Who controls the Strait of Hormuz? Iran. What's happened to the global economy? You've seen Asia Pacific just get riled. You've seen gas prices go up to $4.50 to $5. Donald Trump, the Trump administration, has openly said that as a result of this, even if the strait opens, we're going to see high gas prices until 2027. Energy shortage, fuel shortage, food shortage. It's rocked Asia Pacific. Like I said before.
Yeah, some experts say about what, 2032, but that's a bit long. But to be quite honest with you, I could see 2027, but it's going to take a while for the global supply chain to catch back up. You know, ships got to refuel, ships got to get maintenance and cleaned up. And like I said, the global supply chain got to catch back up because these ships are like months, years late on deliveries.
Our allies, our Gulf allies said, hey, man, we have bases here. We have U.S. companies here. We're getting targeted by Iran. They're looking to China for a new partnership. So what did Donald Trump gain by being dog-walked by Netanyahu? His poll numbers are rock bottom. A majority of Americans are against this war. Gas prices are up, food shortages, energy shortages, helium shortage. Furthermore, the Strait of Hormuz, again, is closed. It used to be open, folks. So Iran, yes, it has suffered many losses. We should not forget about the fact that Israel has killed so many people. Israel still occupies Lebanon. Israel still occupies Gaza. Israel still occupies Syria. It's so interesting that Naftali Bennett comes on here and says, well, Israel has a right.
Oh, yeah, the Golan Heights. Yeah, that's how they occupy Syria. Yo, that is crazy, though. They literally did expand their border into Lebanon and Syria. That is wild. And they solidified Syria, bro. They took the advantage of that. They took advantage of the turmoil in Syria and took it upon themselves to establish the Golan Heights, which is crazy as hell, by the way. And Trump, you low-key solidify it for them, which is even crazier.
To defend itself. What about Palestinians? What about the Lebanese? What about the Syrians? What about Iranians? Because last time I checked, the United States and Israel were the ones who unilaterally started this war, assassinated Khamenei. And furthermore, 4,000
IRGC. You don't speak for us, Iranians.
Wonderful. Listen, let me just finish.
We're so grateful.
I know. Yes.
I would tell her the difference. I'm like, sweetheart, I don't speak for you diaspora Iranians that aren't even inside of Iran, that's been living an American lifestyle outside of Iran, no sanctions, no nothing. You haven't lived under the sanctions that America imposed upon your people that's decimating their currency and their very way of life. You haven't lived under that. So the fuck you know about how they feel when you don't even understand their experience.
Sure. I'm sure you are grateful.
Do not conflate
I'm sure you are grateful.
We are not one and the same. Do not conflate Iran.
4,000 Iranians have been killed and 1 million Lebanese people have been displaced.
Over 40,000 have been killed by the Islamic regime in January.
Fake news, not confirmed. No numbers have confirmed this. They say they got classified medical documents that they have not released or shown proof of.
January, where were you then? Where were you then?
Like, I was against the regime. I was against it. And the regime.
I mean, here's the thing, though. It's kind of crazy how, and this is how crazy she is. Like, lady, 4,000 innocent Iranian people died because of a war that you sponsored against your own people, that you cheered for against your own people. And all you got from me is, well, what about when the IRGC killed? Lady. Innocent civilians died because of a war that you cheerleaded. I wasn't cheerleading the IRGC to shoot people. You were cheerleading the U.S. to bomb your own people. There's a difference here.
Everything is blame Israel.
He didn't get the talking points from Arakchi. Arakchi didn't send him the talking points, which he so effectively has been riling off now. I mean, basically, Arakchi or IRGC spokesperson could have said everything word by word that you just said. You're just reading off Iranian propaganda talking points. I don't know. You call yourself...
When they can't beat the point, boy, you're just an IRGC member. I swear to God. And that's all this debate is always boiled down to. If they can't beat your point, well, damn, said, I guess you're part of the IRGC now. I guess you work for Qatar. And I'm just like, come on, guys. Don't do me like that. Really? Come on. Just tackle my argument.
American, you call yourself something in favor of the US.
Listen. The game has changed. The game has changed.
After the other.
No one believes. No one believes Israel.
Not accurate. Many of them not accurate. I don't
The
think a lot of
problem,
people
the
believe
problem.
you
Okay,
either.
Jonathan.
Many of them
Jonathan,
weren't
Jonathan.
accurate.
The problem,
It's just amazing. Yeah.
Jonathan. The problem is a lot of the Iranian talking points, as you put it, are demonstrably true, right? In the sense that they do control the Strait of Hormuz. The regime is still intact.
They are.
The Ayatollah's dead, but his son has replaced him. And although we haven't seen him, we've had statements come from him, and he is believed to still be alive, albeit wounded. We'll see. I mean, time will tell. But we've also seen Iran attack its neighbors in the Gulf with impunity, which has caused enormous damage there. So this idea, and I totally agree with Wajahat. There's been a lot
destroyed most of our bases in the region, making them inhabitable, inoperable, radars, barracks, and all. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we highly underestimated Iran.
of damage militarily to Iran's Navy and Air Force and so on. That's indisputable. But what's also indisputable, Jonathan, is that there's been an asymmetric war battle through the Strait of Hormuz and the control of global energy and all the economic damage that causes. And it's been very effective. And the Iranians know that. So, my concern about this is not a defensive Iran. I think the Iranian regime is despicable and has oppressed its people for nearly 50 years now. And it's appalling. But, there are lots of despicable regimes around the world.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I'm for the IRGC being overthrown too, but by the American people, not us. And I think we just got to sit there and wait on it. I mean, bro, the slow game we were playing was working. We had these guys literally protesting their government, but we fucked it all up by letting them aside, give these guys guns, give agitators guns. These agitators start burning down property, burning down mosques. And of course, the police come out, and now there's a shooting match between the protesters that have guns and the police. And here's the thing: there are people who just peacefully protesting. Weren't protesting the government. It wasn't protesting the IRGC. They were protesting the currency collapse, and they were protesting their government's way of handling it. They didn't want their whole government just to go away. And when we started bombing them, you know what that made them do? Rally around the flag. And I think, what was it? Myron Gaines kind of had the best example of here. Like, guys, as much as we hated Biden, okay, as much as we hate Biden, if China came over here and blew up the White House and killed Biden, Kamala Harris, and his wife, dog, all of us would enlist the military to go avenge Joe Biden. Why? Because we'd rally around the flag that very moment. Because how dare anybody threaten our sovereignty like that? Do you understand what I'm saying now? I don't care, bro. If somebody did that to Michelle Obama and Obama, we'd have did the same thing. So, and it's a weird phenomenon. It's the rally around the flag effect. How people who don't even agree with their government, don't even like it, will rally with their government against a foreign entity. That's what we set off in Iran.
And the Americans don't attack them. I think the Americans attacked Iran when they did because Benjamin Netanyahu persuaded Donald Trump this was the moment to do it. Really? I'm sorry, I do. Really? I think he persuaded him. Yeah, I really do. I really believe.
I honestly expect you, Piers.
Let me finish my point. I believe, as we read in the New York Times 2 months ago, in a very detailed analysis of what happened, that Netanyahu and the head of Mossad laid out a chain of events which they believed was perfectly achievable, and Donald Trump signed up to it. I'm not saying he didn't in the end make his own decision for the United States. I'm just saying he believed Benjamin Netanyahu when he said, if you do this, then all this will follow. And it hasn't turned out that way. And that's why Trump wants out, but Benjamin Netanyahu wants to finish the job. And that is where we now...
Well, guys, make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people in the conversation, and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the show. But let's make sure we are double tapping that screen and smashing that like button, guys. Appreciate the support.
I believe. Now, there will be people who, even as I say that, Jonathan, will be screaming, well, yes, because you're anti-Semitic. No, I'm not.
No,
I'm really not.
I'm not going to say that.
I just know what I see with my own eyes.
I wish, as an Israeli citizen, not, speaking about whether I support this prime minister or not, doesn't matter. He's my prime minister. I just wish that Israel was a tenth of had the tenth of the power and influence over global events that we are accredited to in international media, especially the New York Times. And I wish that we had that influence over decision making in the world. Sadly, that isn't the case, and I think it's been proven and demonstrated time and time again by decisions made by this American president, who undoubtedly is a great friend of Israel, but he's made lots of decisions that don't go well with Israel. The situation in Gaza isn't good for Israel. The situation in Lebanon, as it is now, where the Iranian regime allegedly is allowed to link between the two countries, Hezbollah, their protege, and the situation in Iran, that's not a good situation for Israel. Trump's deal with the Houthis, a year and a
come straight to the face and stop attacking Lebanon. Yeah, you guys know if you didn't attack Lebanon, then Hezbollah wouldn't be attacking you guys, and neither would Iran. So if you actually abide by the ceasefire in Lebanon, then there goes Hezbollah. And then you could focus on Hamas and, work out the deal then. But here's the thing. I mean, they don't even want to work anything out with Hamas because they're still bombing them, even though they're under a ceasefire.